United with Christ. Meet local churches with open doors, serving throughout the Border Valley community and sharing the truth and hope of God's love and salvation. A presentation by KSCE Channel 38 Christian Television. And now, United with Christ.
Good morning. My name is Maritza Hernandez. Thank you so much for viewing us, and thank you so much for having us here. I want to thank the TV station for having me here once again. I've done these programs every year during the month of May and June, and now I'm back in November, which is very exciting. Again, my name is Maritza Hernandez, and I am with Children's Protective Services, which is CPS, and I am the faith-based specialist. I would like to start with a brief prayer, and then I will also introduce my guest. Thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you for this opportunity. Lord, I want to reach out as many people as I can today and every program, every Friday that we're going to be here. We're going to be here for 4 Fridays in November, and I want to reach out as many people as I can. I ask you this in the name of Jesus. I pray. Amen. And I am the faith-based specialist with CPS. I have been doing this position since August of 2015. And when I call pastors or clergy, and even when I do presentations and conferences, people say, really, a faith-based ministry? Yes, we do. We do have a faith ministry through the state of Texas, and Texas is unique. We are the only state in the nation with a faith-based program. And the faith-based program is very successful all over Texas, and as you can imagine, Houston, those areas, Dallas, San Antonio, and a lot of people in Austin are really on board with the program, and the commissioner as well, the commissioner of CPS. And so what is the faith-based program? The faith-based program is basically connecting the child welfare system with the faith community. That's what it is. It's that connection that we want. We're seeking churches, we're seeking pastors to help us with the crisis that we have. And so when I call clergy and when I make an appointment, most of the time they ask, does this involve money? And it necessarily does not involve money. It could involve, relational. It could be a relational project. It could be prayer. And so basically it is the connection to the office, to CPS, and to help us with the crisis, and to help the families, and to help the children that we serve. And in general, people ask, what is the faith-based program? And so the state of Texas is committed to seeking the assistance of the church. We had a summit in June of last year in Dallas, and we learned that, who used to take care of the orphans and the widows 100 years ago? It was the church. It was not CPS. And so the state is committed to seeking the assistance of the church to help us with these families and with these children. 100 years ago, it was the church. It was not CPS. CPS came into existence maybe 40, 50 years ago. And we are seeking the assistance of the church. I call pastors and I call clergy every day to make appointments. And I present this information to them in a PowerPoint presentation, and the whole entire meeting will last about 30 minutes. And so I do call pastors constantly, and I ask them for an appointment, and hopefully they give me an appointment to promote this program, to provide this information. And I know pastors are busy, I understand, but if pastors can only allow me 30 minutes at a time, that would be great. I'm very flexible. I can work on weekends, after hours, and I can be there at your location to promote the faith-based program. And with me today is a guest, my guest. She is also from CPS. And I'm very happy that she said yes to me. And let me go ahead and introduce her to you all. Hi. How
Hello.
are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me here today.
What is your name?
My name is Angelica Simpson. I'm the foster care and adopted recruiter for Child Protective Services.
Great. How long have you been with CPS, Angie?
I have been with the agency for 9 years.
9 years.
And just recently started with this program. It's a new position that we're trying to get out there and reach more families and recruit as many foster homes and adoptive homes as we can.
Okay, so basically your job is to recruit.
Yes.
To recruit
Yes.
foster parents and to recruit adoptive parents.
Yes.
Okay, and why do we have that need?
There are so many children in the state of Texas that really need good, loving homes. In the state of Texas for the fiscal year of 2017, there were over 170,000 reports that were investigated by Child Protective Services of child abuse and neglect. Of those reports, there were over 66,000 victims of child abuse and neglect. With that, we try to work services with the families, try to mitigate those concerns, and when that's not possible, these children then enter our custody and they go into foster care. We have across the state over 17,000 children in foster care, and over 3,700 of those children are available for adoption. So there's always this growing need of having good homes, good nurturing homes for these children that in this unfortunate situation they cannot be with their parents. It's not safe. We need somewhere safe for them to go and somewhere loving and nurturing, and we really need to reach out to the community and get as much help and as many people interested in doing this for our children.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I want to mention, I know that you said 17,000 children in foster care, but we also have about 14,000, right, in kinship.
Yes.
And those are with relatives. Those
Yes.
children are with relatives.
Yes. So primarily we do try to place children with family if that's at all possible. That's our first resource when we cannot keep them with their parents of origin. So we do look at relatives, and we do have, luckily here we have a lot of relatives that step up and really help care for these children while the parents are doing their services. Mm-hmm. So yes.
Yes. And so there is always a lack, right, of foster parents, and there's always a lack of adoptive parents, right?
Yes.
I know that we do have children without placement often, and so we have them at Westside Community Church. As a matter of fact, I worked a shift last night from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m., and so there's always a need for foster parents.
Yes. Yes, we actually, at this time, we have 2 children that did not have a foster home to go to, and there was no other location. So unfortunately, in that situation, we do have to take turns taking care of these children at a church that has graciously volunteered to help care for our children. And so we take turns taking care of the children there, but that ultimately is not the best placement for them. And so we definitely do need more homes so that we can prevent this from happening and prevent children from being in this limbo of not really having somewhere to stay or someone to really call home, or somewhere that's stable, that they have the same friends, they have the same school, they're not having to move around, and being in a church situation, although it's great that we have that option, it's definitely not the best scenario. So we're always in need for homes for these children to go to.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and you mentioned the church, and yes, it is Westside Community Church. They do have a room for us,
Yes.
and this youth is staying there, and we have workers supervising these children every 4 hours,
Yes.
right? Two workers, and so we're always in need of foster parents.
Yes.
And so, how do people contact you?
So I'm available. You can call me at any time. My phone number is 915-538-9725. You can also email me at angelica.simpson@dfps.state.tx.us. We have informational meetings for potential foster or adoptive parents. They take place every second Wednesday and last Monday of the month at our office, 501 Hawkins. It's right at Hawkins and North Loop, and it's at 6 p.m. You can also call me or email me if you have any additional questions. This month of November is actually our National Adoption Month, so we do have an additional informational meeting that is going to be on Monday the 19th, I believe, and that's at 6 o'clock at Juvenile Probation. And there's going to be Child Protective Services. There's also other child placing agencies that will be there that day so that we can help gather as many people possible to apply for fostering and adopting.
And so generally, the informational meetings occur the second Wednesday of each month
Yes.
and the last Monday of each month.
Yes.
And do people need to register to come in?
No. You just come on in at 6 o'clock. We welcome any and all that are willing to come, and we'll give more information about the program, what the qualifications are, what the process is for training, and basically what to expect, or what you could expect with our children and our program.
And I know that one of the misconceptions, and I've heard this because I'm out in the community, is if people attend those informational meetings, that we will be calling them back and you know, asking them, hey, you haven't turned in your application to become a foster parent. What's going on? And it's not like that.
No, not at all. We don't want to pressure anyone into being a foster parent or doing this. If this is what you decide is not for you, that's perfectly fine. There are other ways that you can help, and which we can discuss that here in a little bit. But we want this to be comfortable for you, and we're here to offer any support, any information we can possibly provide you, but we're not here to pressure you or to force you to do something that maybe you're not ready for at this time. So the informational meeting is there for you, for you to get more information. And if you decide that you do want to move forward in the process, we provide you with an application. You can fill that out. We run our initial background checks as far as Texas, and then we'll invite you to our class. If you decide it's not for you, that's fine. Even after you apply, if you decide to opt out and not move forward, that's perfectly fine. We want you to feel comfortable, and we don't want to pressure anyone into doing anything that they're not able or feel ready at this time.
Yes, and you mentioned the class.
Yes.
How long is the class?
So our class is 11 weeks. Our next class starts January 10th. It's 11 weeks long, and that goes into the end of March. Our classes are every Thursday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., and we talk about the children that come into our care, the legal process, what we do with our parents to try to reunify our children with their parents, because that is our primary goal. We do believe that if children can safely return home, that is the best option for them. When that is not possible, then we look at making them available for adoption, but our ultimate goal is to try to reunify children with their parents. We talk about that. We talk about a lot of the trauma that these children experience, what can happen when these children experience trauma, some of the behaviors that they may display. Not every time that they're displaying anger means that they're angry at you or angry with where they're at. It's just the situation that they're in. It's scary going into a new situation. It's difficult having to adjust for both the foster family and for the children to adjust to being with somebody that's just, it's different than what they're used to. So learning how to cope with that, getting you familiar with some of the other foster parents, building a support system, talking about some behavior intervention techniques, working on as a team, working together to help these children, help these biological parents get back on track. And oftentimes foster parents can be a great tool in helping these parents work through some of these issues that caused their children to come into our care. And oftentimes our parents are victims of abuse or neglect themselves, or this is how they just learned how to parent. And so they're too having to learn something very different that they may not have been used to. So foster parents can definitely help provide a great tool and be a mentor to them to help them and guide them on how they can better interact with their children, or different ways that they can do things that doesn't result in abuse or neglect. So I think providing that avenue and teaching and guiding foster parents and helping them be there for our biological families is a big part of it as well. But so that's all different things that you can look forward to in the training. And always we're here for you outside of the classroom. If you need anything, have any questions, need guidance, we're definitely here to help support you as much as we can throughout the way.
Great, great, great. And you mentioned 11 weeks, which seems like a long time.
It does.
But it really isn't. If you
isn't.
think about it, it's just 11 times that you meet.
Yes, it's 11 Thursdays that we meet throughout those 3 months. And so it goes by pretty fast. The classes are from 6 to 9. The material, and it's very interactive. The material that we present, it's also, we're wanting to get a lot of feedback from our foster parents. It's a lot of introspective work. It's looking at yourself, looking at any issues that you may be thinking of that might affect your ability to care for these children, or concerns that you have about working with CPS as a team and with the biological parents as a team. So it's very interactive and it goes pretty fast. And throughout that process, you also have a worker that will be assigned to you that will help you, guide you through the paperwork, and guide you through getting your home in order to meet minimum standards as far as residential care licensing, the standards that they place on our foster homes. So you have a lot of guidance throughout the way, and it goes by really, really fast.
Okay, great, wonderful. You sound so exciting. And I know that one of the misconceptions, and I hear this all the time, is I want to take care of a 5-year-old and CPS is going to place a 15-year-old in my home.
Right. And so you, as the prospective foster parent, has the say as to what age group you're looking at, what gender you're looking at, ethnicity, if that's also something that you're looking into. The foster parent always has to say, we're not going to put a child in your home that you are not ready and willing to accept. We want to create a good pair, a good match, so that this placement can last. Our average placements that children go through is 3. So children are going through on average 3 different foster homes. So we want to be able to avoid that and learn as much about you as possible throughout those 11 weeks. We want foster parents and adoptive parents to be very open about who they are, their beliefs, their background, what behaviors they're absolutely not willing to accept. That's perfectly fine. We want to make sure that when we get to know you and we know these children, that we're placing them together in a position that's going to help the child grow and help you grow as foster parents to create a good, supportive, and loving environment for these children. We don't want to re-traumatize the child or make this an impossible situation where the child is going to have to move again. So we definitely work with you. We want to learn about you and make a really, really good placement so that these children have that comfort and that knowing that this feels like home. Even though it's not home, it feels like it can be home. And so we want to create that and not force anything that isn't going to go well together. So we really need our foster parents and adoptive parents to open up and be as expressive as they can about what they can and cannot do, what their limits are, what their strengths are, so that we can make good matches.
Thank you. And can you repeat your number, your phone number?
Yes, my number again is 915-538-9725. You can call me, you can text me, and of course you can email me, angelica.simpson@dfps.state.tx.us.
Okay, and one more time, how many children do we have available for adoption in Texas?
In the state of Texas, we have over 3,700 children that are currently available for adoption. We do also have the Texas Adoption Resource Exchange website that anybody can go and you can see some of these children that we have available for adoption in Texas. A lot of these children that make it to the website have been in care for years and haven't found their forever home yet. So a lot of these children really, they've spent years in our care and are ready and need to find that permanence and find a home that they can stay forever. So I welcome everybody to look at that website and see if there's any children that speak to you or that reach out to your heart that you are willing to see if you can take them into your home.
And another question I've been asked several times is, once you obtain that license to adopt, can you look at the other children available for adoption in other areas of Texas?
Yes, you can actually, once you become licensed to adopt, you can look at any child within the state of Texas. We also have situations where you can look at other states If there's children in another state that you are looking for adopting, then what we can do is reach out to that other state or reach out to that other city in Texas and say, hey, this family is interested in this child. We would love for you to take a look at them. And then that state or that city would examine your family and see if they feel it's a good fit.
And most of the children waiting for adoption in El Paso, I should say, or maybe even Texas, most of them are teens.
Yes.
Yes.
It's often that we have teens that are not as lucky to find a forever home. I think oftentimes it's a misconception that these teenagers just have a lot of behavioral issues, or that they're aggressive, or they're going to run away, or they're going to cause problems. And that's not always the case. These teenagers need love, and they need nurturance, and they want a place to call home as well. So unfortunately, in the state of Texas, the population that we have looking for adoption is mostly going to be your older children or our teenagers that really need homes. So behavioral issues can happen in any age group, not just our teenagers. So it's opening up your heart to seeing that these children, although they're older, they do still need love and structure and a good home. Another issue that we find in care is accepting siblings. So sometimes we'll have a family that says, oh no, I only want 1 or 2 children, but we'll have homes or sibling groups of 3, 4, 5 that will have to be separated or can't find a place together. So that's something that we're also always struggling to find is trying to keep these siblings together. These children didn't ask for their situation. They did nothing to come into care. So breaking that relationship for siblings is very difficult, because not only have they been separated from their biological parents, and often aunts, uncles, friends, grandparents, to be separated from their siblings is just additional trauma that we want to prevent these children from having to go through. So we would really like to find more homes that are willing to accept siblings, or reaching out and having a support system that maybe if we do have to separate, that there's 2 homes that can work closely together to help maintain that sibling contact, because that's really important in the child development and maintaining that sense of family. So finding homes that are willing to do that is also something that we're struggling and really, really in need for.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for all that information. And once foster parents obtain their license, then is that expiring? Does that expire? What are the commitments afterwards?
So once you obtain your license, there are 20 hours of continuing education that you would have to maintain every year.
Every year?
Your license doesn't end. It doesn't expire in that sense. You just have to maintain that training. So your worker will maintain contact with you and work with you to making sure, hey, these are the trainings that are coming up. If you need to attend some of those hours, there's trainings available, and they'll be keeping you aware of what you can do to help maintain those hours. There's also some trainings that you'll have to renew every year, and that's something also that your worker will help you with and guide you through. We're having this training on this date. You do have to be certified with CPR and first aid training, and that's also, I believe, every year that you have to renew that. But basically it's that. It's just maintaining those training hours.
And another question that I want to clarify with you, since you're the expert on this subject, is it expensive?
No, it's not. Our 11-week training class is free. It's at no cost to the foster parents. There are some expenses that you might have to incur during this process, which would be doing an FBI fingerprint check. You do have to pay for that out of pocket. You have to obtain a fire extinguisher for every level of your home. So if you have a 2-story, you need 2 fire extinguishers that you may need to purchase. There might be some other expenses as far as attending the CPR training, or if there's certain things in your home that maybe aren't up to code for minimum standards that you would have to adjust. You're looking at maybe that, purchasing beds for the children. So there's those little expenses, but nothing that would be, we're not asking thousands and thousands of dollars out of your pocket to pay for this training. We want this to work for foster parents, and we want to make it readily available and easy for foster parents to go through. So no, we're not asking a lot of your pocket. And there is a reimbursement once you're licensed and you have a child in your home. There is a reimbursement that the state provides to you to help mitigate some of those costs that you're going to spend in food and clothes. If they're in extracurricular activities, I know that can kind of get pricey. So there is that reimbursement that the state provides to you. And we do want you to get our children involved in extracurricular activities, getting them involved in sports, taking them on vacation with you, getting them to feel as normal of an experience, of a childhood experience as they possibly can given this situation. So we do want to help mitigate a lot of those expenses so you can help normalize their experience while they're in your home.
And it's not expensive to adopt, correct?
No.
Because I know with private agencies it's like 20,000,
Yes, it can be very
40,000. I heard a couple recently say 70,000. But through us,
No, through us, and depending on the child, you can qualify for adoption subsidy and adoption services that would help. Depending on the child and their needs, you can qualify for some services to help you. And also, again, depending on the child, then they can look at helping with adoption fees. And if not, then we have attorneys that can help assist with Child Protective Services children that are looking to be adopted. There are attorneys that help, and they offer a lower fee than you're not looking at 20,000.
thank you, Angie,
Yes.
for stopping by and
Yes.
for coming here to be my guest.
Thank you for
And
having me.
do you want to repeat your phone number before we wrap up?
Yes, again, my name's Angelica Simpson. My phone number is 915-538-9725.
Thank you, Angie,
you.
so much for coming over to talk to us and enlighten us about the whole process.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And we do have a few minutes, and so I want to just keep on mentioning the faith-based program. And if there are any clergy, any pastors that would like to hear about the program, please contact me. My name is Maritza Hernandez, and my phone number is 915-309-3595. There's a variety of ways to help a child. I have 28 ways to help a child. I have 10 ways to help a child. There is a letter that was sent out from Cecilia Abbott, Greg Abbott's wife, the governor's wife, and so we want to engage. We want to partner with your church. And if you can, please call me. I can give you this information in a meeting. Your church leaders can be there as well. That way they can be aware of what it is. Again, my number is 915-309-3595. Thank you so much for having us here.